Always wonder why most of the times we feel like we have to have money for us to be successful. But money is not everything. Only a medium to help us to be able to continue with our lives. So we'll see how we go today. We are here at King's Park today. Looks like it's going to be a nice, quiet day. So just trying to see how I can go today. But I think it's going to be a lovely day. Many people already. We'll see how we go. It's usually very, very crowded. I almost had no parking. But it's been good. Always wonder why most of the times we feel like we have to have money for us to be successful. But money is not everything. Only a medium to help us to be able to continue with our lives. So we'll see how we go today. Here we are in King's Park today. I was hoping to see one of the first trees that was planted, but it looks like they were all planted on the same date in the same year, in 1929. Some of them were planted by secretaries of the committee that maybe were establishing this area and who had set it aside. I can see this is a tree. It's planted by Sir W.R. Campion. He's a governor on the 29th of September 1929. So most of them were planted on the September of 1929. I believe it was when it was being established. It was set aside just for public viewing and public relaxation. I really think it was a very noble thing to do. It's very, very good, relaxing environment looking at it. As you can see, today is, I think, the first week in spring. Spring is a very good environment, especially for this space. Takes a lot, and I love spring. Spring is one of my favorites. But today we've been trying to understand what we mean by wealth. Most of the kings who were established before, they view their wealth as success. And that is what has been passed on to so many people. That to be able to be successful, you have to be of noble blood, or you have to have a lot of money. And even this is being passed on to many people. Many people in our society today talk about having your first million, making sure that you amass a lot of wealth. But is success really about amassing wealth? You can see that even in Africa, most of our leaders, one thing they have in common is that they really want to show off how much wealthy they are by trying to take and oppress the people that they are subjects, that they are actually supposed to be leading. Leadership has become about money and how much money you can be able to amass. But I think leadership is subjective. Leadership and wealth is subjective in that it doesn't matter how much money you might want to have. Success in a person is not determined by how much money you have. There is health, there is family, there is job opportunities and businesses. When you feel you are able to go ahead, be successful in one area of these things, and you didn't think you could be, that is a lot of wealth. Because there are so many people in the world today who only wish they could be healthy, but they have so many much amount of monies, but their health is failing them. And they have tried everything in the world to try and bring their health back into good books, but they cannot be able to have good health. As much as money they have, they are not able to sustain their health properly. And some of them, even they're not very good business people, apart from taking from others. They're not really, you cannot put their character into a very good book that you can say they are people of good character. They have been successful in trying to do this and that. So I believe having millions, having money is not a bad thing. But having money and millions is not so much a sign of success, but rather because being a millionaire and having so much money depends on how you view your success. Here we are, having a look at some of the flowers in spring. Spring brings around so many lovely, beautiful flowers. And this is one of the gardens here, having a little bit of a look to see beautiful pinks. Lovely, lovely pinks, as you can see. Wonderful today. Beautiful, beautiful day today. Trying to see. Sometimes they just let them grow and they barricade the area, which is a much more natural way to be able to do them. And as you can see, that sometimes just being able to be healthy and being able to come to an area like this and walk and see it is much more worth than having so much and the only place you can be is your hotel or your own home. So being a millionaire or having so much doesn't necessarily equate to being very successful. Therefore,
go up the mountains every weekend.
I'm going to go to a place that when I first came here, I managed to sit at, and I just thought it was a beautiful, beautiful place. Sat there, I was newly married, probably in about 1 year or so. Very lovely sceneries to see. And this is a lesson we learn in life today, because many people and many governments now maybe the emphasis of life is not money and how much you can be able to amass for yourself, but rather it should be the quality of life and how much as a society and as a community you're able to stand up together. One of the biggest positives in my life growing up, I remember we used to go to the neighbors who asked for salt. My dad was a farmer, and he would send us with maybe a liter of milk or 2 liters of milk to go and ask for sugar or salt or tea bags, just to be able to get what we didn't have. We did not have exchange as in money. And money has become one of the biggest determining factors that you are a successful person. But I really don't think that should always be the case. Now don't get me wrong, I am not saying money is bad, but there are instances where the love of money has actually drawn a very thin line between sustaining somebody's life and taking other people's lives. So this is where, when I first came, this is a place that we sat at, overlooking the river. And this is the Swan River. One of my friends from Kenya, when he came, he was asking me, is this a river? It is a river. It's one of the longest rivers. It divides WA, West Australia, into two, the north and the south. So I live south of the river. It really looks like a lake when you are in a smaller country. Australia is very big. Therefore, this is the city overlooking. As you can see it. And there is a highway just right down there. Many things that can be seen from here. You can also see, they call it Elizabeth Key. Elizabeth Key was designed for a purpose of eateries, places where people could come and eat, especially families. So what they did is they took some water from the river and actually pushed it into the inland. But then they had created these spaces for people to be able to sit at. Maybe I'll go and have a look at that place next time. But today we are at Kings Park. And I remember when I came here, it was very cold. So trying to remember how it was. When you come, maybe from other places, if it's warm, if your place is warm, always remember to carry a blanket if you're coming in the evening hours. So as I was saying, most of the time, we link success to wealth. And this has been one of the biggest obstacles in our societies today, in that if you do not have finances, then you cannot be able to sit or talk with other people. It's become such a stigma in our societies today that many wise people, many intelligent people have been blocked away from contributing in society just for a simple fact that they do not have fat checks or they do not have a lot of finances. And it is very sad to see. I remember my mom telling me one time, if you know how to wash your hands properly, you can eat with kings and elders. And I believe this is also an African proverb. But my mom always used it to tell me, if you know how to look after yourself, you know how to clean your inside. That means you know how to develop your character. You know how to make sure that you watch what is coming from your mouth, and you know how to have obedience in you. Then it is possible to sit and eat with people who are important. Not because your status are that big, but just because what is in you is so valuable that they can be able to see what is in you and they want to tap in what it is that you have. So this is the place, and we're going to continue going on as we see what else today has to offer for us today. And many birds here today. Big, very big trees. I think they come in very handy in summer, because sometimes summers here can be very unforgiving, very hot. I know when I came here a while ago, the summers were not as hot as they get nowadays. They get to about 41, 42 degrees sometimes, with dry heat and sometimes humidity. It can be very harsh when people are not used to it. The first year I really struggled. So these trees come in very handy when shade. Most of the time people rest here, and those who have little kids, I know we used to put our blanket on one of the trees and we'll rest here. They're usually very good, especially in summers. The Botanic Gardens also got a lot of memorials, a couple of memorials, very key memorials that try to emphasize the history of the people, which is very important. And most of the time people leave flowers, especially during one of the biggest occasion they have, which is the Anzac. They bring flowers and they lay them on the places for memory. Very noble cause. I really honor most of the people who lose their lives in fighting for any country. Whichever country it is always very important. Friendships, families, friendships, sometimes it is very hard to understand, but it's always good to know that friendship, there is no amount of money that you can put on friendship, but friendships have to be authentic. And nowadays it's very difficult because you find that even in our lives today now, everything has become about money. The community that you used to be born in and you feel you belong has been taken away. So if you want a community, you literally have to buy it. And it is very sad to see. Therefore, even as we live and in everything that we're doing, friendships supersede finances, which is a very, very hard thing sometimes to understand. This is one of the memorials right here. So it's good to see, but friendships and family and community has been replaced with things that are not tangible anymore. Friendships and families have become not so much important. And it's become that if you truly want them, and you have to purchase them. They come with a price, and that way it's now where the world is going. I remember one of the people saying that the community that we used to have, nowadays you can't have it anymore because it's been taken away. The families that people used to enjoy are no longer families that people can enjoy now. It is very sad to see, even looking at it, saying that there is such a fatherless society. The discipline that was there is slowly fading away to a society where people say, I will do as I please and I will do as I want. We're losing the moral fabric of any society now because it's become very hard to just be able to do anything without saying money is what is important. Therefore, money has become important, but they are no longer important anymore. Therefore, it becomes very, very difficult to see what is that we're chasing, because if we are to buy everything, including community, then we really are in a very slippery slope. I am on this walkway. This is a new one for me, and it looks beautiful. I didn't leave this one here. I think it helps those who are disabled to be able to look at the park, and I also appreciate it. When I was here, I think they were just trying to lay it down, so it was not here. I just passed one of the people coming up with a wheelchair. As you can see, it's wheelchair accessible, and there are many walks down there. You can be able to see. It is beautiful. The air is very fresh. As you can see, look at those trees up there. They look beautiful. And if you don't have mobility, and you can be able to come here and just see, it really cheers up your spirit. And this is one thing that, as I emphasize, money cannot buy. When you look at life and the things that life has got to offer, some of them money cannot buy. There are a couple of hotels here, 5-star hotels, and the way I'm dressed, I do not think I can be allowed to go in there. But it's all good. If I need to go in, I can always be able to dress, because there is always a dress code which I always respect. It's always good to respect the culture of the people where you are at. But I've been in that hotel probably once, and I was trying to say most of the things now in the world we live in are underlying factors about how much money you have in your bank. And it creates a very, very hard living standard for most people who just want to live their life, sometimes quietly. And I remember one time when I was just about to build, I went into the bank and I wanted to deposit some money just to deposit some money. And it was a substantial amount of money. But then the person serving me looked at me and she told me, "You can have a seat there." Half an hour later, I was still sitting and no one had served me. And because I don't think she thought a person like me would have such an amount of money, I can't say, but sometimes we label people on the color of their skin or whatever they are when we look at them and how much money they could actually have, which is a very, very sad reality in the world we're living today. Wealth does not necessarily have to determine the status of a person, because however much money you have, there is not anything you can ever take from this world with you. It's in here. There's the setting. I think it's from the Aboriginal Cultural Center, maybe. It looks like they say need to renovate it or something is not right. And the setting of the place with the stairs always speak of something symbolic. Stairs going up and stairs going down is always sometimes symbolic. You can see the area, the space itself. It's got a lot of color too. But it's also got shade. A lot of indigenous plants I can see. You see, they really use stairs to define the space. When I'm drawing and I'm doing my architecture drawing, sometimes stairs are very important. They help to define a space, a small space, can be defined very beautifully just by use of stairs, and sometimes just different kinds of stairs define a space very nicely. And look at the stone there, very beautiful. It's a very good contrast. It's trying to be able to contrast the area because most of the color here is black. That just gives a statement already showing the contrast. Life has got a lot of layers to it. A life that is just monotone can be boring. A life that is contrasted is beautiful. You don't need to have so much to be able to be significant in this world. It's the little things that can be able to help us make a difference. The cultural setting of the Aboriginal people is full of color. Full of color. As you can see, and I think this is a Aboriginal setting area. They use color to define various different things. West Australia is home to some of the Aboriginal people. There's many different Aboriginal sets of people, which are very, very friendly people. Very friendly people. And, one of the memorials here, you can see. One of the defining moments in life sometimes is not how much you can amass for yourself, but how much you can be able to get from a relationship, because they're very hard to come by relationships. And when you have one or two people in your life, that's important. It's always good to value them. Coming around, you see one of the trees that was brought here a while ago. It's been about 10 years ago. I was here when they brought it in. I'm not sure if it's still alive. It took a lot of effort just to try and bring it in. So, one of the things that is also important as you live this life is to have a purposeful, driven life. Many people find fulfillment not just in finances, but actually in pouring into other people's life, volunteering, finding much more fulfillment in helping other people have meaning in life. And this is the tree. I think it's a baobab tree. I saw many in Kenya and I think Asia. It's not indigenous to this area. So they really have to try and look after it a lot. I was here when they brought it, and I was here when they started to look after it. We came when they had just put it down. Here speaks of differences in life. Just to show you, just this tree was brought from miles away from here. Gets to show you in life, it's impossible to actually have everything. There are many things that you cannot have. Whatever you have, you value it. Whatever you do not have, if you can be able to have it, still value it. But the underlying factor that being a millionaire is what makes one successful is actually erroneous. Because there are many things that sometimes we cannot have. What we have, we hold dear to us. As I was saying, I was here when they were bringing this tree. It came thousands of miles from away because they wanted that particular tree. They didn't have it here. It's not part of the tree species here. Therefore, they had to go and fetch it. And it is sometimes in life. Some things you do not have, you go and look for them. But the underlying factor is some things you do not need. And some things that you need and you can have, then you can have. Those that you don't necessarily need, you do not have to have them, be grateful. And if you have them, it is a good thing. Even if you don't have them, it's okay. Therefore, a purposeful, driven life is much more focused not on self, but on other people. And that is where we find sometimes fulfillment in life. Realizing that people are more important than just saying, I want. Because the moment you put I to be the central focus of your life, it becomes very difficult to take it away. And that is one of the biggest problems. Because all what people desire is what they want. And not necessarily what they need. These trees are the latest ones that were planted maybe a little bit later on. They're about 35 years, 2nd of October 1918, this one was planted. So I can say from the other ones we were looking at, this one was planted a little bit later on. So as I was saying, love creates more meaning when you have learned to be a volunteer. The Wanjuma Volunteer Hub. There are many of these places that people can be able to learn to actually look after other humanity. We are missing that in community because most of the community nowadays is taken off by the fact that you have to work for money, and that is what defines you. And it's really become very difficult completely for everybody. I think it's important to work. It is what actually our bodies were created for. We cannot stay without work. We need to be able to get our bodies consistently in motion. These are some of the other flowers for spring. Beautiful combination of yellows and pink. Lovely. I think I came at a very good time. You must admit this one. I came at a lovely time. So spring is here and the flowers are in. I love spring. Apart from the fact I get a lot of hay fever. I sneeze a lot, but I love spring. Just beautiful breeze is going, and a very beautiful day today. So you can see there are flowers everywhere, and I love it. So the emphasis of life actually is to try and make sure that we are our brother's keepers. Very easy to say, but sometimes it's very hard to do. Very difficult, and most of the time now, you hear a lot of things online saying, if you want to be a millionaire, you have to block everyone away from you and only focus on yourself. And that is a teaching that is being propagated now. So it's very hard for everybody to just sit back and say, look, this is not the correct way to live life. We can share things and still be okay. We can still do things together as a community. I don't need to buy you to feel that we belong. We can still belong together and we can still do things together. Beautiful flowers today. Wonderful flowers you can see. And just looking at the surrounding, the atmosphere today is beautiful today completely. And you don't really know how to go about everything. So meeting people and saying hello to them and seeing how everybody is interacting with the space. Flowers are in. I don't know if you're allowed to pick one, but I won't pick. Just out of courtesy, I don't think. If my daughter was here, she would have picked all of them. I usually let her pick one or two. She loves flowers a lot. I think she loves pink flowers and red flowers. And when she was here, she would pick a handful for herself. And then I'll say that's enough for today. Life is a set of many, many things. But the more we continue going, I think the more we're digging a very, very steep hole for ourselves and not realizing that it is about people and not about things. It is about community, it's about family, and it's about setting morals and standards for ourselves, for our future generations. I think this one will be the next one maybe, or next time. It's empty. They usually maybe rotate them around. I think what they do, they just throw the seeds in and then the place germinates without them trying to do much. And spring comes around and they'll be out. Flowers will be out.
I've got 22.
The big tree there gives us shade.
I started with 100 when I came out. So that shows you how many I've taken.
Beautiful.
Okay, which way do we go now? Get back
Different. This one is one that has different one. There's a Swan River Daisy. There's Rhododendron. Some of the names are very hard to pronounce. Slow Show Everlasting. I love those ones, are the yellow ones. They are beautiful, all of them. I would say this would be life. You see, this is life. I've just come here. It is very, very interesting that I've stopped here now. This is what life is about, a mix of many, many things. This looks very, very good. There is the pinks, there is the yellows, there is the trees in there. There are different ones also. The whites makes it much more appealing and very, very accommodating, full of varieties. And that's what life is all about. And all these plants are struggling to be able to get what they need just to be able to continue growing. And that is what life sometimes entails. But when the emphasis becomes on one particular thing, then we lose focus of life. And I don't know how many times I've seen the videos saying how to get your first million, which I think they're probably authentic, but that's not everything what life is about. Many people here today. Just coming to one of my favorite spots. This is one of my favorite spots for the kids. Loved coming here every day, even when there was a concert. Most of the concerts are actually done here. As you can see, it's sort of elevated, and then there is the water is sort of down, so it's like an amphitheater when you're looking at it. Look at the water coming up. That's when the kids used to love coming here. Another thing about life, about security of life is important. As long as you how you want to acquire it sometimes. That can be a source of contradiction. I love this space. If I was here, I'll probably put a little sitting area that is elevated, and people can also be able to sit or run and close to the water. It will be really nice to put it there, but the way it is, it just looks beautiful. I'm not sure what it's emphasizing. I think it's probably emphasizing fertility. You can see the woman in the water holding a baby, and springs of water that are coming up and down. Very, very good setting, very simple. And you can see lots of life. Where there is water, there is always life. And in architecture, when you're drawing, or whatever you're doing, sometimes you're meant to bring your setting or your space with life. You can use water, you can use wind, you can use light, or you can use whichever medium that helps you bring life into your space or a house that you're setting up. One of the very good architects that does this is Tadao Ando. Tadao Ando is a very, very good designer and architect that brings water, lighting into being when he's drawing and when he's designing his buildings. So security of life is important, but it doesn't need you to go and rob a bank to be able to be secure in your life. Your children will be okay as long as you're doing things in a much more moderate way. And sometimes people will only want to acquire things for themselves. They do not think about who they are going to hurt in the midst of whatever they do. So it is good. It's a beautiful day today. Try and just understand some of the things that are important in life that you cannot be taken for granted and cannot be replaced. Just being able to come here and sit and have a peace of mind. To some people, it's not doable. But to some very normal, common people, this is something that they can do pretty much every week. And therefore, there is a lot of things and dichotomies in life that we cannot be able to understand. And to be honest, the world we're living in today, the emphasis that it's placing on things is driving people away from peace of mind and peace of heart. Have you ever wondered why there is so many heart attacks, so many high blood pressures, and so many people now heading to therapy? You know, you wonder why people cannot be able to have a peace of mind with all these things still intact, with all the money and the wealth that they are able to acquire for themselves. They still do not have a peace of mind. High blood pressure is one of the leading killers in the Western world, and even most of the people now dying due to high blood pressure. Heart attacks because of the lifestyles that we've chosen to live. We've gone away from simplicity and taken too many complications in life. The little spring of water here, I don't know if you can see it, Just looking, I love springs of water. Probably if I were to design a house, I would really have lots of springs of water just around the house. The noise of water just flowing always brings a lot of peace in my heart. I love water. Absolutely, I've loved water from when I was young. It just adds a different dimension to life, especially the sound of it. Just listen to that. Where I grew up in, we could go up the mountains and just see natural, where the sources of water were coming from the mountain. And it was a very, very good experience to be able to have experience of that. Just listen to that. How beautiful. You know, some of these things, there is not an amount of money that can buy them. And even in some of the most remote places, you will find many of these places that are just coming all natural. This one is already man-made, designed to be like that. But you can imagine if it was just springing from a natural spring, how beautiful would that be? So beautiful. We take for granted some of these things when they are there. But then we have become so much wealth-minded that we will go and bombard these places for minerals and only what we want to satisfy ourselves. How much can we actually have? How much is it going to be until we say we've had enough? We are still bombarding these places so that we can get and amass all these things for ourselves. But how much really is enough going to be enough? How much are we going to be able to say one day that what we have is enough? That what we have gotten is enough to be able to pay for our children and for our children's children. I can imagine living one day, seeing the grandchildren saying, what were you guys thinking and what were you guys doing? You left as a shell of a planet. We have nothing left in this. All the money might mean nothing then. All the gold we extracted might mean nothing then. All the diamonds we extracted might mean nothing then. Life is a series of many things. And money is really not at the core of it. Wealth is not at the core of it. One of the wealthiest person in the world, King Solomon, was a king. This is why we are in King's Park. He said, vanity of vanity, all is vanity. Amassing wealth, so many wives that he had, was all vanity. It amounted to nothing. Therefore, when you are able to pay your bills, which sometimes there is nothing you can do because now the world is already set up. You have to be able to pay your bills. You have to have your electricity. Otherwise, you can't do anything anymore. So the beauty of it is that all these things are only for a short time. They do not define who we are and who we are going to be in the long run. And let them not define you either. Another thing that we need to look at, I don't know if you've seen, when we started, life is a journey. It's not a one-stop thing. And success is a journey. It's not a destination. Succeeding in life, succeeding in marriage, succeeding in your everyday activities is a journey. You have ups and downs. And sometimes many people will only accept the ups and the downs, and the times there are quiet moments. You do not want to accept it because you don't think that having a down moment is part of what you desire. But it is important to always remember quiet moments in life also mean a lot, and they make a very important statement in life. So it's not for nothing. This is a small amphitheater. I think here is where most of the weddings happen here. Just set up for weddings. And you stand here, you say, I do. Sometimes you don't know what you're saying I do for. You just say, I do. The water here, I'm thinking you probably have a couple of fishes in here, but I'm not sure. So you say, I do. And I don't know what you're saying I do for. You say I do for better or for worse. But when life throws you a ball, can you be able to handle it? Are you able to understand that when life throws you lemons, you can convert them into lemonade? Make the best of the bad times to be able to use them as experiences for your good time. Make the most of your bad time to use them as stepping jewelry stones for your generations to come. You can be able to tell them, I walked here, I did this, and I managed to persevere. Not, I ran away. The structure looks very good, well done. It's a metal structure combined with wood, which is very good, and it's stable. And I think at night, the only thing I would say maybe to put some lighting here for the night on the sides, so it can light up at night, and maybe focus in the middle here with lighting for the night time. But I don't think this area is encouraged for night time because they cannot be able to monitor it. You know what happens to human beings when you can't monitor them. A lot of things happen. Therefore, it's a lot. Today has been a very good day. Life is truly a journey. And when we learn to embrace it, we learn to take in a lot of things that sometimes we learn them as we go. Because there is no book that is written about a journey of life anywhere. You only learn from people who have been before. That's why reading books is important.
She's definitely like,
In architecture, you're not allowed to just draw unless you learn from the people who have actually designed drawings that have been successful. That is why in your first year you learn from some of the best architects and you take some of the things they learned through and some of their failures to help you as a stepping stone in your life. This is a walk. I love this one also. I don't think I've been on this one. It's a very good walk. Jara Eucalyptus marginata. Return of the tall timbers. Okay, that's good. They're trying to get the environment alive again. This is how the forest here, it's an imitation of how some of the big forests are full of eucalyptus trees. And the only problem with eucalyptus is full of oil, creates a lot of fires. But it's what this environment is all about, trying to bring back that which is taken from it. This is one of the meeting places of Aboriginal people. It says Bidwong meeting place. I am not sure what it means, but it looks very much like an African setting meeting place. And if it's a sacred place where you used to go before circumcision, you would go and be able to face the elders. You have teaching, and the elders will be sitting around, and then those who are being taught will most likely probably be sitting up here, and the elders, the chief elder or the elder of the clan will be sitting at the front. Very, very good place here. A lot to learn and take in. I always respect these places. I always respect these places very much. They are very solemn places. You take a moment to think about society and you take a moment to reflect on many things that are happening today. This one is another walkway that is elevated in the midst of the trees. I've been on this one. This is, my kids love this one. When it was being put up, we came to have a look at it. And it's a walkway in the midst of the tall trees. Mediterranean trees, medicine trees, they say. There's some trees that are good with medicine. Miri trees played a significant role in Noongar culture. That is the settlers, the Aboriginal owners of the land, the Noongar people. The red gum, mayat oozing from the tree, contains tartan, which has antiseptic qualities. Mayat was powdered and sprinkled onto open wounds to prevent bleeding, or added to water for a mouthwash or disinfectant. This brings a lot of memories to me. I remember I had a burn on my hand, and my mom used to take some leaves and she would chew them and spit them on my hand. And over a period of time, it actually healed just from that. So I can't know what type of tree that one was, But all I can remember was that was what used to happen. And it healed me about 3 months, and my hand was actually healed. I still have that scar on my hand, so I'm not just telling tales. It was a very painful process because I remember, I think it was one of my sisters was cooking and she spilled hot water on my hand and my hand got burnt just close to my wrist. And the wound was open for some time, and my mom was the one that was helping me to get the healing. I didn't go to hospital. And one thing too, I was not born in hospital either. I was born at home. Another takeaway. There are many things we can learn in life that does not involve money. And it is something to take on to be able to teach our children. But even when it comes to healing, there are many, many medicines that are just natural. That's what we need to go back to. The natural things that are important in life that we have taken for granted for quite a long time. The kids used to love going up and down these men. It's like a little elevated area. It's got glass on it so they could look outside. And you can actually see down. I'm not very good with heights, so I'm not gonna. That's where we were before. And we're going up now. Can be able to see. This is the height, and you can be able to see the city from here very clearly. You can see it. So I'm high up, and you can see the city from here. This is the height, actually, the highest point of this space in Kings Park, where you can see the city in full. You can be able to see what's happening there, the cars down there. You can see one of the tallest buildings in the city, which is up there. The competition is on, which is the tallest. Alright. It's always good to understand what nature offers us. You can see the tall trees really amidst the walkway. How they're trying to say there is healing, and much of the times the healing is very, very close to us. And people use people use so much money, millions of dollars, to just try and make themselves well. Dreaming serpent. It's about storytelling. Storytelling is a very good art in the, especially Black people cultures, African, and most of the Black people, they have a lot of storytelling. It's been there for ages. That's how they pass on their knowledge from one generation to another. I don't think it's very much more being practiced so much anymore. But I still remember us sitting by the fire, telling stories. I don't need to be a millionaire. In fact, If anything, just being able to have everything done for you, you will not have much to tell compared to when you're able to actually work and get things out of trying to earn a living and toiling for what you get. So today has been an adventure, I must say, even for myself. Looking at what we have been able to cover today, it's been an adventure for me. I didn't think today was going to be such a lovely day, but spring is in and there is a lot. I think this is how the campaign was done there. This is how it used to look before they made it. So I am here, they say. It's just showing you how it is. There is much to life, and you can sit and be able to understand it, what it offers for you today. Being grateful. It's been a big day today. I've been able to relax and see how it has unfolded. Learning and understanding that wealth and success, very different things. So keep on going and keep on remembering that your success is not measured by amount of millions that you have in your bank, but is measured by some of the things that are important in life. Here we are. We keep on understanding life every day. Keep on making sure that we are talking to our children every day. Making sure that there are important things that are not missed as we continue to live. In the end, we do not need $1 million to be successful. By focusing on personal growth, meaningful relationships, contributing to your community, you can lead and reach a meaningful life. So, we are grateful for this day today. I can be able to see, I think you can see the boats there. Someone with a boat there going through the water. This is the Swan River, as you can see. It's a big river. When I came, even I was very shocked to see it. It runs a lot of kilometers. I don't think you're allowed to fish in here. We are finishing our lesson for today. I think even our battery is low, so we encourage as you leave, remember that everything is not only directed to wealth by millions. Wealth is measured not by your bank account. Wealth is measured in the little things and little successes of life every single day. Family, how much you can be able to input in community, and the ability to be able to just be successful in the little things that you do every day. Thank you.